Hey guys, welcome back to the Flask application series. What we're going to do now is start on the articles. Okay, right now the articles are coming from a file called data.py, and that's not ultimately what we want. We want them to come from the database. So I'm going to go to MySQL, which I have open down here, and we're going to create a table for the articles. Okay, just like we did for the users. So this will be articles. And then for our fields, we'll have an ID, which will be an int. We'll say 11. It's going to be auto increment. And also our primary key. Did I spell that right? Primary key. And then we'll have not a name, a title, which will be varchar. And for the title, I'm just going to put in 255 for the title. And let's see, what do we have? The author, which will be varchar. Let's see, for the author, let's say 100. The body is actually going to be text, which can be longer. Okay, we don't have to define a max value either. And then we want create date. And whoops, we don't want those. Create date is going to be a timestamp. And again, we want this to have a default of the current timestamp. Okay, and that should do it. So now if we say show tables, we now have an articles table. So what we'll do first is we'll add the article functionality. Okay, so let's go ahead and log in. And I want to put an add article button right here. So let's go to our dashboard HTML. And I'm going to put a link that's going to be formatted as a button with Bootstrap. Okay, and that's going to go to /add_article. Okay, which will be a route that we create. Okay, and then under that, I'm just going to put a HR. Okay, so now we have a button. Now let's create the route inside of app.py. I'm just going to go below the dashboard here. Actually, let's just copy that. Actually, no, let's we're gonna use WT forms for this as well, just like we did with the registration. So what I'll do is copy this register form class right here. Okay, and then we'll go down here, paste that in. Let's change it to article form class, and we'll call it article form. And what's nice is we can use this class for both the add and the edit articles. Okay, but we'll get into editing later. Alright, so this is basically just going to have two fields, a title and a body. Everything else is kind of inserted automatically, the date and the author. So let's change this to title. And let's see, let's give it a max of 200. And then the body. So body is actually going to be a text area field. And then as far as the length, it's not going to have a max, but it will have a minimum of 30. And that's it. That's all we need for the article form. So now we want the add article route. I'm just going to copy this. Remember, that's going to be add_article. Okay, and this also can take a post, so we want to say methods equals get as well as post. And then this is another page that the user needs to be logged in, so all we have to do is take this and put it there. Oh, it's already there. Never mind. Oh, I did want to put it in the logout as well, so let's just put that right there. Okay, so let's change the name of this function to add article. And we want to, let's see, get rid of that for now. And what we want to do is set the form to article form. And then that gets passed in request.form. Now what we want to do is check for the post. So if request.method is equal to post, and everything checks out as far as validation, then we want to get the title from the form and get the body, then we'll create the cursor, so it's going to be MySQL dot connection dot cursor. Okay, then we want to execute. So we'll say cur dot execute, and this is going to be an insert. So we want to do insert into the articles table, and we're inserting a title, body, and author. The date will go in itself, and then we'll set the values, and these just have to be, we're using replacements, so %s 3 times for 3 fields. Okay, and then we'll go right here, put a comma, open up a set of parentheses, and first one's going to come from the title variable, then the body, and then the author is going to come from session and username. Now if you want it to be a little, I guess, a little more in-depth, you could fetch the user with their username and then put their real name as the author, but we're just going to use the username. That's fine. This should be in single quotes. Alright, so that's that. Now what we want to do is commit. So for that, we're going to do mysql.connection.commit, and then we'll close it. Close connection. So for that, we just do cur.close. Okay, then we'll send them a flash message. And we'll just say article created. That's going to be a success. And then we'll redirect. We're going to redirect to the dashboard. Alright, now we also need to render the template before we check for the post. So that's going to go right here, right? Yeah. So let's just return this is going to be add underscore article, and then for the second parameter we just need to pass in that form. Okay, just like we did with the registration. Alright. So let's save that. And now we need to create the actual form. So let's go to templates, say new file, add underscore article dot HTML. Now for this, I'm going to paste it in the initial form, and we'll just go over it. So we're extending layout. We have the block body, H1, and here we're importing the form helpers, which is in the includes folder. Then we have a form with two fields. We're going to render field for form title and for the body, and then we have a submit. Okay, very simple. So let's save it. And let's see. Template not found, add article. Oh, should be .html. Okay, so there's our form. And let's go ahead and say article 1 for the body. I'm just going to grab some dummy text. Oops. Article created. All right, so let's go to MySQL and we'll say select all from articles. And there it is. Article 1, the author is Brad, and then the body and the time. So we can now submit articles. Now I do want to implement an editor. When we add an article or edit, we don't want just a plain text area. So there's a ton of different solutions you could use. One of my favorite is CK Editor, because it's really simple. Let's see. Download. Alright, we don't even have to download it. We can just use this script tag right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go to, actually let's copy that, and then we're going to go to our layout file, and we'll put this in the header. Actually no, let's put it down here under Bootstrap.js. Okay, and then all we should have to do is put a script tag right here and just say CK editor dot replace, and then whatever class, or I'm sorry, whatever ID we want to use for the editor. So I'm just going to use editor. So if we save that and then we go to add article and just add on to the body right here and say ID equals editor, and it's as simple as that. Now we have an actual editor. Okay. Now this is the basic one. You can get different versions and all that, but this one's fine for what we're doing. Now on the dashboard, we want to be able to list the articles. Okay, just like we do in the front end here, which will change. We'll have this coming from the database because right now it's still coming from that file. But right now I want to take care of the dashboard. So let's go back to app.py and go to our dashboard route, which is right here. And we're going to just first create cursor. Set that to mysql.connection.cursor. And then we want to get articles. So let's create a variable called result and set that to cur.execute. And then we're just going to do select all from articles. Very simple. So then we'll set a variable called articles and set it to cur.fetchAll. Okay, which is going to fetch it in dictionary form. And then let's do if result is greater than 0. So if basically if there's any rows, then we're going to render the template, but we also want to pass along the articles. All right, and then we'll put an else, and if there's an else, then we're going to, actually we can get rid of this and put it in the else, but we're going to send a message. So we'll say MSG equals no articles found, and then we'll pass along the message. All right, and then we just want to close the connection. So now we should have access to this articles from within the dashboard template. So let's go back there. And this is going to be in a table. So let's say table, and we'll give that a class of table, and also table striped. And let's do a TR, and this is going to have some headings, which are TH. So we'll have the ID, we'll have the title, the author, the date, and then these two are going to be left blank because these are for the buttons, the edit and the delete buttons. So then right here we want to loop through all the articles. Oops. Okay, so we can do that by saying for article in articles. And then we just want to put TR, and then we want all the columns, which are going to be TDs. Okay, so this one will be the ID, which we can get with article.id. Oops. This one will be the title. This will be the author. And the create date. Okay, now in here we're going to have the edit and the delete. Now the delete is actually going to be a form because we have to make a post request. But the edit is actually going to be a link. So let's say href, and let's set that to let's see, that's going to go to edit underscore article slash, and then the article ID. And let's see, we're going to give that a class of btn. Let's do btn and then btn default, and also pull right because I want it to align to the right. And then for delete, I guess I'll just put a link in there for now. And we'll just change this to button danger. And it's not going to go anywhere. Alright, so let's save that. And then let's go to the dashboard and reload. And there it is. There's article 1. Good. For the delete, we don't want pull right. And this should be pull dash right. Okay. So now let's make it so that the front end article list comes from the database. Okay, which is going to be pretty much the same logic that we just did in the dashboard. So what I'll do is just copy all of this really. And then we'll go up to where the articles are, which are right here. And let's just paste this in, and then we just want to render articles.html and then right here as well. So we'll save, and now you can see there's only one because it's actually reading it from the database. So we can just comment this out right here. This pulls it out from the file, which I guess we can comment out right here as well. Okay, because we don't need that anymore. We've moved on to bigger and better things. So now let's do the single article page. Okay, so this right here. Now we have the route. Let's just go down to right here. This is the route, and it's just passing in the ID. But what we really want to do is take this ID, make a query so that we can get the real article and then pass it to the view. So again, we're going to create the cursor. Let's grab that. Actually, let's just grab all of these. Okay, so we have the cursor, then we're going to say, let's do get article. We want to execute select all from articles, but we want to add a where clause and say where ID equals %s. And then we'll go ahead and put in ID. Alright, now we're not fetching all, we want to do fetch one, and this should just be a single article. Then we'll render the article template, and instead of passing in just the ID, we're going to pass in the entire article. Alright, so that's all set. Now we'll go to the article.html file, and let's replace that with, actually we don't need that, I think, wait, yeah we do. Article.title. Let's try that. There we go. So in addition to the title, we want the author and the date, which I'm going to just put inside of a small tag. So let's say written by article.author on, and then we'll get the date. And then right under that, let's put an HR, and then we'll put in the article.body. Let's actually put that inside of a div. Okay, go and reload, and there we go. So just to test it out, let's add an article. We'll say article 2, and I'm just going to grab some crap here and submit. Article 2, there it is, and if we go over here, there we go. Let's see, we don't want that. We don't want the paragraph tags to show. So what we can do here is put in a pipe character and where the body is and say safe and reload, and now we don't see those paragraph tags. Alright, so I think we're pretty good. Oh, let's put our buttons here. So this will be a user, a login and a register button if we're not logged in. So let's go to home.html, and we'll go right under the paragraph. And what we'll do is add a little bit of logic. So we'll say if session dot logged in, if it's equal to null, meaning it's not there, then we'll show those buttons. So this will go to /register. Alright, and then we'll do /login. Let's also give them a class of btn_lg. Make them a little bigger. Okay, so we are logged in right now, so we don't see them. If we log out and go to home, there they are. Alright guys, so in the next video we're going to take care of the editing. Okay, so when we're on the dashboard we want to be able to edit. we also want to be able to delete. Okay, so that's what we'll get to in the next video.